Ladies and gentlemen of YSN Universe, I've been gone for a little bit. I took a trip to the another time zone. I went to Europe, close to my boy Abdullah over here, man. Recurring guest on the channel. So happy to see him. He's at uni at University College London. My boy's doing his thing. But today we're here to talk about two very important things. Abdullah, tell the people what we're here to talk about, man.
All right. So, what's going on, everyone? So, we're here to talk about the England Southgate's World Cup selection for the World Cup. And we're also going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo's recent comments with Piers Morgan that happened literally yesterday. So, it should be interesting.
Yeah, it's been a madness. It's been a madness. But here we are, man. First, let's get started with the World Cup. How are you feeling about the tournament in general? You got any dark horses, any underrated players to keep an eye on? Let the people know.
Okay. So, firstly, about the tournament itself, I'll be interested here to hear what you've got to say about this. But in my opinion, although usually it happens in the summer and like World Cup vibe and XYZ, I actually don't mind this. I feel like I don't know, it's kind of like happened at a good time because it's like obviously I'm in university and academia and stuff like that. So essentially, like there'll be a World Cup fever on campus. I'm interested to see how that goes, considering how that World Cup is like what brings everyone together, like people who don't like football, people who don't like football. So yeah, I feel like that would be interesting. I can't lie. The tournament itself, I'm not too confident about England per se. I'll be honest, but the actual tournament itself, in terms of the big hitters, Spain's, Germany's, Argentina, Brazil, Portugal, like it's quite hard to pick out a clear cut winner from the get go. I think in the previous World Cup, choosing France, I feel like a lot of people weren't surprised when France won. Because they had a really strong team. So,
Yeah.
but in terms of England, I'm not too confident. Let's just say that for now. I'm not too confident.
All right. So for me, I get some of the frustration about having the World Cup in November. I get it. It's hard for the players to turn around from club football immediately to international and go on a whole tournament. However, with this injuries thing, injuries can happen anytime in the game. It's part of the game. So blaming injuries on the timing of the World Cup is kind of delusional, in my opinion. I don't know if that gets anything done. But I mean, listen, man, here we are. It's time to play some football. We'll talk about that later too. I published my predictions article yesterday on my website, so we'll definitely get into that. But like you said, man, first of all, I said this last time. I said, listen, Abdullah, I need you back on the channel to talk about the World Cup. And here we are, a couple months later, and Southgate has picked his 26. It's an interesting one. We'll get into it. First, we'll start with who's in net. So we'll look at this. And it's the three that I was expecting. He's
Mm.
gone for Pickford, Pope, Ramsdale. Pope is having an incredible season with Newcastle, Ramsdale top of the league with Arsenal. And then Pickford, he's shown in tournaments that he can show up for the side. What are your thoughts, and who do you think gets the nod at number one?
Um, so I think the keeper selection is probably my least kind of concern. They're all three good goalkeepers. We're actually like stacked in that regard. Like all our keepers are. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ramsdale and Pope. Pickford's slightly less such, but because he's proved it in previous tournaments, you kind of just had to go with him. And Everton aren't doing that. Like they're not doing great, but they're not doing bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of what I expected Everton to be. Not gonna lie, after the summer as well. Um, I think Southgate. I think he'll go with Pickford. I think knowing Southgate, he likes to kind of just like go with what he knows. But there's an equal shout for all three of them, in my opinion. Like I wouldn't mind any of them regardless. I don't think putting Pope or Ramsdale in a big World Cup is like sensible, but like I wouldn't be too concerned if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with you. All keepers are playing well. I mean, obviously Everton is not the greatest side, but Pickford, he usually puts on a performance for them. In comparison to, we'll do this as we go throughout. In comparison to the Euro squad, I mean, you're looking at a way better keeper selection. I mean, Euro 2020 was Pickford, Dean Henderson, and Sam Johnston from West Brom. So you're looking at a definite better keeper selection. Hopefully none of them get hurt, but if one does get hurt, you'll have a safe bet in another one. So that's for keepers. And now we go to a highly talked about position group. Probably my most angry that I was with selections. We look at defenders. So obviously a big name missing out is Reece James. He is out through injury. Wow, the camera just shook. Let's see. Ben Chilwell also misses out on the World Cup. Your thoughts on the defenders? We go through here. We see Trent, Cody, Dyer, Maguire, Shaw, Stones, Trippier, Walker, and Benny Blanco, Ben White from Arsenal. What are your thoughts?
At first I was like very, very annoyed. Like, well, not very annoyed, but I was just kind of like question marks that were just going through my head. But as I got to like kind of like watch what like so I absorbed rather the squad that he's gone with. I'm not too surprised, and B, it's like like how do I say this? It's like it's almost become to a point where I just expect Southgate to just choose these players anyway. So it's like, why am I not even surprised? I'm not even surprised anymore, if that makes sense. You
Mhm.
know? Obviously, Reece James, I'll be honest, if he wasn't injured, I don't think Southgate would have chosen him. And that's kind of like the consensus. Like, a lot of people like have agreed, especially with Chelsea's form, and especially like his attitude towards Reece James. He always has a preference towards Trippier and Alexander Arnold for some reason. Like, he has in England here, that the attitude and kind of like vibe is that there's a supposed agenda on Reece James and a couple of other players we'll go through in a second. But I'll be looking at this like it's calm. Like it's like I'm looking at it, like the names, and for the most part it's calm. Like John Stones is tournaments like regular at this point.
Mhm.
Alexander Arnold, like Euros was good, but like obviously past recent games he's not been like 100%. But it's like again, it's a safe bet if you want to call it that. With Eric Dyer, Eric Dyer is the kind of the question mark, but I think he's gone off his form excuse again, and Eric Dyer has been okay. He's not like he used to be abysmal, but now he's okay. Like it's a bit like I'll take it. Do you know what I'm saying? Connor Cody, like borderline saying Ben White's been good. I think he's chosen Ben White because of versatility, because Ben White can play right back and centre back. So I
Mhm.
think it's just a versatile player. Like, it's a no brainer. Arsenal top of the league as well. Kyle Walker just reliable. Harry Maguire. That's where we have questions. I'll be honest. That's where we have questions because, like, yes, he's gone with Harry Maguire because of tournament regular and XYZ, but he's not been playing for Man United. Like, he's clearly not like the priority of Man United. And like initially, I would have said Tomori to go, but then when I think about it, like firstly, like Tomori, he's been okay. He's been like I'd say average, like kind of what we're expecting, but it's not been spectacular for him to like have an undoubtable case that as compared to many players that we'll go through in a second. But Maguire, man, like he's been a shambles. Like every time he's came back to the squad, we've not played well. Like with him, like he's a clear weakling. Obviously, Trippier's having a good season, but Maguire is probably the kind of like red flag that sticks out compared to like any other defender. I'd even put a higher case for Dyer than Maguire. I'll be honest, but yeah, go on. What do you think?
So looking at this list, obviously you know me, I'm a Liverpool guy, so I'm okay with Trent. I had my red flags stick out for Connor Cody. They stick
Mm,
out for Dyer and Maguire.
mm, yeah.
So okay, I get it. Harry Maguire, he's experienced in these tournaments. He actually scored in the quarterfinal in the World Cup last time. Dyer scored actually the winning penalty against Colombia as
Mm.
well.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, but these guys, it's 4 years later. Like these guys are not in form. They're poor too, and it just shows you how Southgate is picking his favorites, which is like, I guess. Listen, here's my thing with Southgate. Like you said, he's gonna pick whoever the hell he wants. This is his team. He's gonna pick his guys. But with him, I get the frustration from a lot of the people. But on it from his point of view, if I was to play devil's advocate, he's just telling people, listen, like jog off. Like I've made the World Cup semifinals, I've made Euro finals in my last two tournaments. So why don't you believe in me? The thing is, though, I look at someone like Fikayo Tomori, who is a Scudetto winner at AC Milan, was integral in their campaign last year, and is going to be playing in Champions League knockouts. Harry Maguire hasn't even started 4 games for United in the Premier League. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why that's a thing. Connor Cody, maybe veteran depth. I'm really not a big fan of Connor Cody. I think Mark Gahey is better than Connor Cody. I think Mark Gahey is better than Eric Dyer. John Stones, I'm okay with. He's solid. Kyle Walker, solid, has shown that. Trippier has Newcastle in what, third now?
Mm.
Yeah, ridiculous. He's playing out of his mind. And then yeah, Ben White is top of the league. He's playing well. So those three, Cody, Dyer, and Maguire, they all stick out to me. But out of those three, the one that I think has the most like reputation or ability to stay in the team is Maguire, based on his last tournaments and I guess his position in the squad. I guess because I mean, he hasn't been shit for England. I think he's been decent to okay, but for United, it's a different story.
But one thing I would say is that the reason why he's been like okay for like quite good, like good to okay for England is because Southgate loves like a back three. He loves that so much, you know. And like if he plays a back three, Maguire's comfortable, you know. Like Man United, we play a back four, you know. So when you put Maguire in that situation, he's exposed a lot more. And I guess that's why he also chose Cody as well, because Cody has like a lot of experience playing in the back three, but he's comfortable in the back three. So I guess that's why he chose Cody as well. Just like a tactic from a tactical viewpoint.
Fair
I
point.
was gonna, yeah, but other than that, there's nothing. Just like Maguire, man, like he's well, let's just wait and see. He's just riding on off previous tournaments, in my opinion. And that's it. Like for Man United, he's been abysmal. Like, I watch every United game, and every time this guy, I want him to do well, but he doesn't. You don't see that.
Oh yeah, he has been shocking. He has been shocking for sure.
But yeah, other than that, like I feel like that I won't say I'm happy with the defense, but it's calm. And just another thing to touch on with the Mark Gay and Fikayo Tomori, I think it's because of the recent international break before this in the Nations League. I think that's highly influenced Southgate's decision as well, because that's when I believe we've seen Mark Gahey and Tomori play. Um, and yeah, like you've seen in the previous international break, we got, yeah, I mean, 4-0 Hungary and all these results. Like it's not like helping them in any way when we're losing to teams like that with those guys in the back. But apart from that, like the defenders to me, I'd give it like a 6.5, like a 7 out of 10. Like it could be better, but it's doable, you know?
It is what it is type thing.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so we move on from that. Like you said about Cody, he has played in a five back almost his entire Premier League career at Wolves, so that makes sense that why Southgate would want to put him on there. But now we go to midfielders. Midfielders at the Euro 2020 was
Mm.
Bellingham, Henderson, Mount, Phillips, and Rice, and it's basically identical in this tournament, except they've added another midfielder, and his name is Conor Gallagher. So it's Bellingham, Gallagher, Henderson, Mount, Phillips, and Rice. A lot of shouts for Ward Prowse to make the squad once again. Especially a big point that's been used is Calvin Phillips has only had one Premier League appearance this year, so he's not in form at all, and he hasn't had a lot of game time. Abdullah, your thoughts?
Okay, the midfield is almost perfect. Well, when I say perfect, I mean like the best England could have gone with. Again, aside from Conor Gallagher, in my opinion, and Calvin Phillips was an initial red flag as well. I'll be honest. Again, but that's due to his game plan. I think again with Phillips, it's just a case of Southgate knowing going with what he knows. In the game that stands out for me is England versus Germany in the Euros, and Calvin Phillips was like a workhorse.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
he was
guess
class. Yeah, he was class.
exactly, and I think that's what Southgate's gone with. I think he's just gone with people that will run. Because if you look at Gallagher, like Gallagher's a good player, don't get me wrong. Like when he was with Crystal Palace, like he was sick. But the thing is, I think Southgate's just gone with people who will run. You know, like Gallagher is a workhorse. Like I've not seen a lot of Chelsea this season, but their recent form and kind of I don't know how his game time has looked either. If I'm going to be totally honest, but from what I've observed of Gallagher in the instances where I have seen him, like, and from what I hear about Chelsea as well, like it's not been all like sunshine and rainbows. And I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like he's lucky to be in the squad. If I'm going to be honest, like he's kind of like become very jammy in this regard. I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I definitely think Ward Prowse should get a shout. Gallagher, he played a right wing last game for Chelsea, and they lost to Newcastle 1-0, their third straight Premier League loss. And I'm not sitting here. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm not sitting here and acting like we had the best form in the Premier League before the break. You know, we're sixth right now. Somehow, some way, we've managed to get sixth, and we've managed what I think we're 10 points behind City, so it's not the worst thing ever. Hopefully, we can keep going back on form, but yeah, I don't know about Gallagher. However, I'm not going to throw a fit about it. I'm more angry about Tomori being left out than I am about being Gallagher added in. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. I'm happy my boy Hendo made it, my skipper. But what do you think? Do you think Southgate's gonna run a 3-4-3 with two wing backs and two pivots, and then the front three of a left wing striker and right wing?
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. I think that's what he's going to do. We'll see, but it's highly like it's what we're used to seeing, like conservative style, and it's worked. Like, fair play to him, it's worked in the tournaments.
Yeah, it has. It has. All right, man. So, but we'll give our starting 11s at the end, but we'll talk about attackers first. This one was a spicy one for sure. For the Euros in comparison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Foden, Grealish, Kane, Rashford, Saka, Sancho, and Sterling went for the Euro tournament. But now Southgate has named Foden, Grealish, Kane, newcomer James Maddison for Leicester, who's having a good season. Rashford's back in, Saka in, Sterling in, and Callum Wilson of Newcastle has made the squad as the backup striker. A lot of big names over here missed out. No Sancho, of course. No Tammy Abraham. No Ivan Toney. Your thoughts, Abdullah? Who do you think missed out? Who do you think deserved their place?
Right. Firstly, before I go to forwards, something just popped up in my head with regards to midfields. Just to like a shout out to Bellingham Mount, is Bellingham Mount in particular, but Henderson as well. Yeah, they're just like cemented. Like we're not even questioning their inclusion at this point. So yeah, but right with forwards, right. This is where, yeah. Where do I begin? Firstly, I want to say like Sterling for me, if I want to start there, is like again, in my opinion, is Southgate going with what he knows. You know, Sterling, he's a good player and he can perform in the tournaments as is shown, but obviously recent form would suggest otherwise. It holistically since the beginning of the Premier League season, with Maddison. Firstly, I'm happy for Maddison. He's from Coventry as well, big up. But he's Maddison. I think Southgate. I think I'm noticing a trend here, and the trend is either Southgate's choosing off recent form, or he's choosing off people he's tried to test in that tournaments. That you're either one of two categories or both, you know. And with Maddison, it's definitely a form thing. Like he's recently picked up form, and that's kind of like allowed him to like make the squad. I think Saka's a no-brainer, unquestionable. Grealish, I'm like 80-20 with. I'm not fully 100% with. I don't know. Something about Grealish just doesn't like, like he's not like, put it this way, he's like, he does play quite a fair amount of games for City, but he almost gives like rotation player vibes, if that makes sense. Like, but he still can produce, so I wouldn't really question it too much. Foden has been great. Like, I haven't really got too much to say about Foden. Callum Wilson, again, is a form thing. Like, obviously, with Newcastle third or something like that, like, it's almost a thing. Rashford is always a form thing. And Kane is just, he's guaranteed to pick Kane. But I think looking at the overall, a lot of people maybe will raise question marks regarding Maddison and Wilson. because who's been left out is Tony. For me, in my opinion, Tony should have guaranteed made the English squad. I have no idea why Tony has not made the English squad. I can't. I'm still struggling to think of a reason why he's not in the squad. Like Tony, if there's ever a tournament, especially a tournament that we're going to need to take penalties in, he has to make the squad. He has to. Like if you look at his penalty record, it's ridiculous. You know, like Tony's lack of inclusion is baffling. That is actually baffling. You know, and I think for the others, with Abraham just I feel like Abraham just got really unlucky with form. Like he kind of started to dry up in the wrong time. You know, if the World Cup was in the summer, he might have got a shout. Like do you know what I'm saying? If the World Cup was in the summer, he's on the plane. But it's just his form dried out. Do I agree with his lack of inclusion? Probably not. But you know, like Callum Wilson again is like I won't say a great alternative, but it will suffice. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it will. Like I'm not too worked up. For me, Tony's the main one. Obviously, Sancho. I can't lie as a United fan. Sancho. I don't think it would be fair if he ended up on the plane. Like respectfully, like he just needs to like use his period, kind of let's reset and just go again. But Tony, man, Tony, like he literally scored in the weekend. Like I don't think we need to say anything more about Tony. And his goals and celebration, and his like kind of like thing just says it all. He speaks for himself, literally. I don't know, bro. Yanni, what do you think?
Listen, man, I'm gonna second your statements exactly. That's why I was clapping because this is the second time Tammy Abraham has gotten unlucky due to circumstances out of his control. The first time he ended on Chelsea's squad with like 18 or 20 goals in all comps. COVID happened. Euros got canceled and got moved to the next year. That's number one unlucky. Number two, if the freaking tournament happened in the summer, Tammy Abraham is a lock to get into the squad. Wins Conference League, bags over 20 something goals. It's no question, right? But this is how sometimes football's a cool game, and then you lose out on shit like this. With Ivan Toney, man, it is like you say in England, Southgate is taking the piss. What is my man doing, man? 14 goals contributions in 16 games, 10 goals in the Premier League in 14 matches, a brace away at the Etihad to beat City. You know how I feel about City. We don't talk about City over here. But it's ridiculous, bro. I don't know how Ivan Toney does not get in the squad. Callum Wilson, I understand he's on good form. I don't rate him as highly as I rate Toney. That's just a simple fact. With Jack Grealish, it's a Southgate favoritism pick. Grealish has been a rotation player for the past 2 years with City, and he's trying to take the piss out of Almiron in the parade. Look at what Almiron's doing. Look what you're doing, bro. You're on the bench. Like, allow it.
Yeah, indeed, quite so. I'll be honest. Literally, yeah, I'll literally say like it's like Tony, man. Like he should be able to play. Like let's be real. Like next season, he's definitely moving. Like he's getting a move, like 100%. You know. And one thing I'd say as well is that Southgate. I think another thing that comes into play is like international football. There's been a lot of things within reports in English to suggest that Southgate prefers homegrown talent, unless you're absolutely ripping it up in international football, like Bellingham, for example. You know, like if you look at like he's like there's a strong correlation between the people he picks and the people he doesn't pick. Like you look at Tomori, you look at Tammy Abraham, you know, Sancho when he was at Dortmund, he didn't really pick him until like. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Even it's only Bellingham that's kind of like pierced through the squad because he's just absolutely tearing it apart, you know. But other than that, there's no like. It's almost as if he doesn't watch international football, but like sorry, European football. But like the thing is, overall, like with this squad in general, like, and this is the same for each of the like positions. Like generally speaking, I'm not surprised to see the names, but like they will suffice, and that's kind of my attitude towards this squad. Like they will suffice. I think my main thing for me is just no Tony's a no-brainer. Other than that, I could put a strong case for especially Fikayo Tomori. But other than that, like I'm almost like okay, like I'll accept the squad. I'll accept it. Like
Hmm.
is what it is. But it's the no Tony thing is going to be big. I'll be honest, because England have not before 2018. We had a rubbish record on penalty shootouts. Like I do not expect us to win penalty shootouts, and we've seen it in the Euros, But we'll see how it goes.
All right, man. We've talked about the squad in totality. Now it's time for the best part. Let's give our 11s, man. This is a big deal. You got the group stage coming up with Iran, USA, Wales. Wales, part of the United Kingdom too. There's going to be some beef. There's going to be some people for sure at some unis across England. From Wales. Giving people the shit. But Abdullah, let's hear your 11, bro. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. I will probably go with what I think Southgate will pick,
Okay.
with a mixture of who I think, but it'll largely be based on what Southgate will pick. I will go with Jordan Pickford in goal. It's just tried and tested. I'll be honest. I will go with in the back. I will go with Alexander Arnold. I think I'll go with Alexander Arnold. No, no, no. I'll go with. Hmm.
It's a tough
Okay, I'll
one.
go.
It's a tough one. It's a
I'll
tough one.
I'll go. I'll go with Alexander Arnold. I'll go with Alexander Arnold. Um, Ben White, John Stones, and then at left back I'll go. I'll go. Kyle Walker.
So you're running a four back.
Yeah, I would prefer 4-4-2. Me personally,
Okay.
but
Okay.
if we want to sandwich someone in between, we'll sandwich Connor Cody and make it like a wing back system. We'll sandwich Connor Cody in there. We'll make it a wing back system. In the middle, I'll put Jude Bellingham, guaranteed. And then I'll probably go. Oh, the Declan Rice though. I'll probably start Jude Bellingham. I can't lie. He's captain in Dortmund. Like he's ready.
Hmm.
I'll probably go Jude Bellingham. Um, then probably put Jude Bellingham like. I don't know. It depends on what if you want to do Jude Bellingham more attacking or defensive. I'll probably go. Actually, no. I'll scrap Jude Bellingham. Yeah. Because it's a strong decision. But basically, my logic is that he's still young and like you can always like try him out in the next like go put him in the next game. He's not one of those young players where you play him in the last game. I feel like he's ready.
Hmm.
But I'll probably go Mason Mount and Declan Rice just for balance.
Okay.
Just for balance, to be honest. Because Jude Bellingham, me personally, I think he's much better attacker than on his attacking side than defensive side because he does get a fair amount of goals and assists from midfield. But like I feel like if I play Jude Bellingham on Mason Mount, it won't be balanced. I can't lie. There needs to be someone in the midfield who's gonna like protect the back, especially if one of the wing backs push forward. So yeah, I'll go with Mason Mount and Declan Rice. I mean, it's tried and tested. It just works. Um, I wouldn't start Henderson personally. I'd save that for like the second game or the third game. I would go Saka, Kane, and then Sterling.
Okay.
This is quite hard. I can't lie. It's quite hard.
Yeah, it's a tough one, bro. But I'm gonna give you mine. It's
Go
a
on, let's
it's
go.
also a mixture of who I think will make it and then who I also want. I'm gonna go with a 3-4-3
Go
and
on.
with two wing backs, and I'm gonna go with um, Pickford in goal, like you said, tried and tested. He hasn't failed England on the big stage yet, and I don't see a reason why he shouldn't start off. Right wing back, you know who I'm gonna pick. It's my boy. He's one of
Yeah.
our own, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Um, I'm also picking this basically because Kyle Walker, he hasn't played since August, right? He's been hurt. He's come back from injury.
Ooh, ooh.
So,
Yes.
so yeah, I'm picking Trent off the strength of that. Maybe Walker makes it back in time. Who knows? But for right now, I think I'm going to go with Trent. My center backs will be Stones. Let's see. Let me pull up the side again. Okay, Stones, Maguire, and Benny Blanco, Ben White at center backs, and then I'll put Trips on the left. So I'll do that, and
Mhm.
then my two pivots, I'll have Bellingham and Rice. For
That
me,
works.
yeah, I have Jude is just he's too class, man, and
He is.
I
He
will
is.
I will take a body shot from Floyd Mayweather to get Jude Bellingham in a Liverpool red shirt. Like I need it more than I need oxygen. He's give him the number 10, give him everything he wants. I need him in Liverpool. It would be beautiful. Imagine a Jude, Thiago, and Fabinho midfield. I could shed tears right now. But we move on from that. That's my double pivot. And my front three, like my guy on TikTok, I don't know his name, but I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go left wing, United zone, Marcus Rashford. I think he's done enough. I think he's on form. He's scoring. He's playing with confidence. You watch the tape. He's making attacking runs. He's taking on defenders. My favorite United player by far. I love the guy. Big up MBE Rash. So Marcus Rashford left wing. Give me Kane at the 9, obviously. Who else? And then give me Bukayo Saka, North London zone on the right wing. That's my 11, man. And listen, Abdullah, you need to remember for this tournament, first World Cup with 5 subs. So that's why I'm kind of going bold with some of these selections. So Southgate can rotate a lot more than he used to. So yeah, on current form, I think Rashford beats out Sterling. Sterling was arguably your guys' best player at the Euros, but listen, man, I love Marcus Rashford. I love what he can do, and he has the confidence now. He's not dealing with any back injury. Give him the chance, man. I hope he takes it.
Okay. And Rashford. Okay, fair enough. I'm here. I hear it. He's been good. He's been good past few games. I'll give him that. Yeah, that's a good. I think that's good. The Bellingham thing. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bellingham. Maybe I should have included him instead of Mount. Maybe I would swap out Mount for
It's
Bellingham.
tough though. It's tough. These guys are all quality in the midfield.
Yeah, I'll probably because Bellingham's just too OP, man. Like he's younger than both of us, and he's captain in Dortmund.
Yeah,
like you get what I'm trying to say. That it's a bit, it's OP.
It's mad because we're at the age now where the footballers are younger than us, and we're seeing them going crazy. So it's wild.
Yeah,
and you got here. I'm gonna do this to you real quick. You wanted to talk about this? We have 6 minutes left. Cristiano Ronaldo, Piers Morgan. The floor is yours for the next 5.5 minutes. Go ahead.
Right, okay, I'll keep this brief because I do want to hear a bit of what you say. But you know what's mad? I've heard both sides of the argument because obviously I've seen on social media how obviously we know what he said and the disrespect to United, disrespect to Solskjaer, Ragnick, Eric Ten Hag, and the whole of the United institution. I think what I'll say is this. I think it's a case of I don't agree, like me personally. I semi-agree with what his comments about United. You know about there's no progression since Ferguson. The facilities are all the same. X, Y, Z. Like we all kind of know that. Let's be real. He's just stating the obvious. Obviously, in the manner which he did, maybe he shouldn't have done that, but it's stating the obvious. I think the personal digs at Eric Ten Hag, I don't agree with it personally because at the end of the day, although he is literally bigger than Manchester United in terms of followers, no on Instagram, no individual is bigger than the club, in my opinion. I mean, it's not doing any favors for the club. And off the back of a win as well. Like we just scored like a last minute win, like Garnacho, you know. I heard Garnacho he unfollowed Garnacho for doing the Messi celebration. I don't know how true that is, but you know, like it's a bit like it's bad timing, especially after we've won and the World Cup. Like I think it's just kind of throwing the toys out the pram. Him kind of just wanting to force out a move because he's feeling betrayed and XYZ. However, towards the comments made about the disrespect towards Eric Ten Hag, I was speaking to someone today and he basically said, which I kind of forgot in the moment, but he raised a very good point, is that Ronaldo's brought on to warm up at 88 minutes as a sub. Now that's what you usually do to like young players to kind of like wind down the clock. But he never actually used Ronaldo to in the game. And that's why he walked out the tunnel, you know? So I guess there's maybe a point about disrespect and all the rest of it. And if you look at his past achievements, XYZ, but it really goes back to the point of no one's bigger than the club. And also as well, with regards to like how Eric Ten Hag's managed, I think Eric Ten Hag's handled Ronaldo pretty well. You know, like Eric Ten Hag's done a fairly good job. Stuff about Solskjaer showing a video of him scoring a goal and then no team talk and then us going to lose 5-0. Again, it kind of speaks for itself. It's a bit of a shambles, I can't lie. But I don't know. He's been trying to force out a move, like clearly no one wants him, or United just want him for the right price. But he doesn't want to be there. He's just causing a bit of a rift. It's not doing us any favors in a manner of which he done as well. Like, we'll see how United respond to this one. I'm very interested to see what the response is. But yeah, in my opinion, personally, no individual is bigger than the club, and I don't agree with a lot of what he said, even though what he might say could lead to change. I don't know. What do you think?
So the literal stance from it is what he's saying is true. Cristiano, what he's saying is true. There has been no improvement. Why would you hire a sporting director to become a coach for a certain amount of time? This is stuff that I can understand. Like you said, though, no player is bigger than the club. And the way that he did this, mid-season interviews are never good. No matter what happens after it, mid-season interviews, look at what happened with Lukaku and Chelsea. Lukaku was Chelsea's leading goal scorer last year. Leading goal scorer, and he missed a lot of time for injury. Leading goal scorer. And you mentioned Lukaku to a Chelsea fan right now, and they say he's shit. Because that's just a fractured relationship. I mean, United have already suspended Ronaldo. They've already suspended him for walking out the tunnel. They've clearly not given him what he wants. And like you said, Garnacho scores his debut, like his first goal for the club, is a winner, a stoppage time winner in the Premier League, a crucial 3 points. And immediately after Ronaldo, the tweet comes out that Piers Morgan is announcing a video. So I don't know how to feel about this. It's tough. With all this stuff, because you feel for Cristiano in terms of the work that he put in. Obviously, he's the reason why you guys didn't play in Conference League this year. I mean, last year he was your guys' main goal scorer. And we've admitted in 30 seconds. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. Well, anything else you want to say?
Very quickly, yeah, it's exactly what you said. We're a better team without him. The stats prove that. The performance to show that. He was given captaincy against Villa. We lost. Midweek, we played Villa again with a weaker team, might add as well. We won somewhat comfortably. We won again. I don't know. In my opinion, we're a better team without him. But obviously, it's the Ronaldo factor. I'd like to see Ronaldo play. But it is what it is. I think it's time to just call curtains before things get even more messier. Interested to see what United respond to it. But yeah, he's speaking facts for a lot of it, but I don't agree with the manner in which he's done and somewhat of the disrespect that's been carried out.
Well, listen, man, Abdullah, appreciate you coming on, bro. You're always welcome. Recurring guest, second time back on YSN channel. We got 6 more days, bro, and we're seeing another World Cup, man. God bless. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on. Anything else you want to say?
Nothing much for me. Looking forward to World Cup. Hopefully England go far.
All right, man. You'll be back on for sure. Thank you, brother. This is Yanni Sports Nation. Signing out.
I left my yard filled with 50s, didn't remember my back card. I really wish bro was with me. He got an 8 on his back like Lampard. That can't be a up trying to diss me. He was in an interview room singing ballads.